Hello, friends. It's day 30 in the 30-day series of celebrating you. And we made it to the end. So, my day 30 is actually finishing. Um, my day 30 entry is about finishing. And it was the journey. When I thank you, Teresa Ford, for asking me to do this. Um, I learned a lot I don't want to say I learned a lot about myself, but I learned about myself. Um, and it caused me to really take a deep dive sometimes and to look. And it was a struggle. It's funny because sometimes you think, oh, 30-day challenge, yeah, that sounds like fun. It's a great topic, or I could do that, and um, whatever. And then I got into it. I'm like, whoa, this is kind of difficult. And this is a lot harder than I thought. Um, but it was an interesting journey. Um, it was interesting, like just looking back at the process. You start. I started off in my head, right, like up top. Like, what could I remember? As far as like a proud moment, and it was interesting because the journey went from my head, from my memory, and obviously I want to, like, what was the proud, I wanted it to be like profound or something huge, like I saved somebody's life and stuff like that. And the longer I went, it was interesting because it's like I couldn't think of anything. And then so like I find myself like going to my heart, like heart space, or inside, and just thinking back on things that moved me, and reliving old memories. And some of them I couldn't tell because it didn't fit the context of the video or the series of proudest moments or achievements, but it did help me to remember times that I forgot, or times that were really special, um in the moment. So like times with my dad, times with my mom, um times with times in my childhood, obviously, because a lot of my memories came from my childhood. But also, coaching was a huge one because I thought I was giving back to the children. In a way I was, right? By, always being available to them, being mentors, and being a mentor, and stuff like that. But it was also, um, part of my learning and processing of my childhood. But yeah, the progression, like from my head to my heart, reliving memories, and then it became like my own spiritual journey, where, um, I started looking at, like, maybe around day 10, it was like, how come you can't come up with memories like of like accomplishments and being proud of yourself? Starting to question myself, and then I was like, is your self-esteem really that bad where you can't you don't have 30 memories of something, of moments where you were proud of yourself? And then questioning, like, why am I blank? Like, why can't I think of anything? And then why can't I remember anything? And then, um it was like th- it was like the blockage was spirit's way of telling me like uh I needed to connect with myself. And so they didn't let me see things that I already saw, or like remember things that I already lived through. And it was like, all right, we're helping you in this, Richie, but you need to connect. And so like some of the topics got maybe very personal, or like it led to topics that or led to topics of me thinking about, as far as like my spiritual growth, my personal growth, um, past relationships and stuff like that. And yeah, it was huge. I can't thank you enough, Teresa, for the opportunity that you gave me to really look at myself and and see where I'm at. I think we're always growing and we're always evolving, but sometimes we don't see things. We don't see like our accomplishments and our achievements and stuff because we're too busy running the race. Sometimes we don't see opportunities, um, or you know life lessons, because we got our head down and we're trying to push through something. That's what I went through. I had a few blockages where I just couldn't think of anything. And then like self-doubt and insecurities came up, and you know, I've always been one to like looking in the mirror because I want to push myself and explore different ways of seeing things differently, removing dark lights on things and putting uh like bright bright lights or white light on it, and evolving. um but yeah, it was a fun journey, it was a fun process. I really i really liked, looking back on it now, all those times when I couldn't think of stuff and I was blocked and struggling to come up with things. I think those were the best parts. It was fun, like reliving, my moment, uh, of bowling and professional tournaments and seeing my dad and having a crowd behind me, and then like all these kids asking for autographs, and you know coaching the kids, and like reliving all those memories. But I think some of the greater moments too is when I couldn't think of anything and I got stuck and trying to figure out why I'm stuck, you know, and getting frustrated and wanting to quit a couple times and just saying like, what, forget it. But then you talk to yourself and you're like, I've never quit anything and I can't quit and I gotta keep pushing. So I just got to figure it out. So it like forced me to work through things and look at things differently, or look at things more like, yeah. So I think, one of I think my favorite two entries were the last two. Um, the entry, or day 28, for my ego, acknowledging my ego and my ego self, and um, acknowledging my higher self. And like I said, if I was wrong about those definitions in those videos, or if you guys have a different view on it, please put it in the comments. But just looking at you know, the villain in the ego and thinking like, oh, I remember certain times growing up where, my ego actually helped me, where it helped me see a lesson, helped me learn something, or helped me in a way where I had an experience because of it. It's interesting because I found myself a lot of times in this video or in this series of questioning lessons versus experiences, and the whole karma thing, which I never talked about, um, because how do you integrate it really in the topic of being proud or achievements or stuff like that? But I did question, um, like, our purpose here, right? Like, is it karma or is it experience? Um, because I just have this picture in my mind a lot because of this series where, you know, um, like, I don't know, like, I'm up in space, and it's be like, when I'm planning out my life path and I'm saying like, oh, I want to know what it feels like to, to do this. And then it's like, well, you did this the last time, so you have to do this time, like the opposite this time, so that you understand, the experience of both. Like, it's not a full experience unless you experience both sides, right? And, you know, before I used to heavily lean on karma, everything's karma, right? Like, oh, um, you're paying for your past transgressions against somebody or something like that. And now I'm starting to like lean away from karma and lean more into like everything is about experiences and the duality of experiences. So like it's not one thing to experience abundance, but it's to experience both sides, like the abundance and then the lack of abundance. And that's an experience, right? It would be, well, just for myself, thinking that's the way I was thinking. That's the way I'm starting to lean. Like everything is about experiences and experiencing both sides of, and maybe it's not really, I guess because we see things in darkness and light, negative and positive, good and evil. Um, but it's like I'm starting to evolve into this space where everything just is. Like there's no good and bad. Like you're not like wealthy and poor. You just are. And we're experiencing, or see, I almost said lesson, but the experience is to experience both sides of it or everything, right? So it's about experiencing wealth, period. But yeah, what a trip. It was cool. Thank you guys for watching not only this video but whatever videos you did. Thank you for participating, for adding your stories, uh adding, just yourself. It did. I read all the comments, but I chose not to comment on any of them because I didn't want to. I wanted it to leave the comments for the community, um, in the hopes that it would stay, as a placeholder for you and not a back and forth about like your story or what you were thinking. Um, Maybe that was wrong. Maybe I should have engaged. Um, but yeah, I wanted to be your own special place, in the comments. But if I do this again, maybe I'll do it a little bit differently. But thank you, Teresa Ford, for for asking me to do this because I got a lot out of it. I got a lot more than I thought I would, and I hope everybody got something out of this besides learning that I grew up in Hawaii and all this other crazy stuff. Um, but thank you, thank you, thank you. So I guess I'll end it here. Day 30, we made it. And in closing, remember, in order to eat the fruit of the tree, sometimes you have to go out on a limb. Embrace your fears. See you guys.